Hello and welcome to episode 13 of AEW Rise to the Top, where we are trying to get AEW to be the biggest wrestling company in the world. And today we have got the go-home shows of Dark and Dynamite for AEW All Out. I'm bloody buzzing. Let's just get straight into it. Let's just not even bother around. What have we got? Okay, we don't have any backstage incidents. I thought we did for a sec. So I'll see you in 1 second with the opening to Dark. Okay, and we are opening up with a women's tag team action with Riho and Sadie Gibbs taking on the team of the Librarian, Leva Bates, and Tainara Conti, who I just realised I need to change her name to Tainara Mello. Not a good match, you know. I'm going to try... I've got an idea, but I'm not going to say it. Because I might do it. It might be a bit of a bonus. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure how it'll work, but I've got a plan. So yeah, just trying to get these four women a bit more popular, a bit more over. Leva Bates and Tainara Conti pick up the victory when Conti pins Gibbs. So Tainara Conti picking up the win for her team. That segment got a 34 rating. Riho was head and shoulders above everyone else in that matchup. 41 compared to Leva Bates was a 32, which was the next closest. Conti and Gibbs 27 and 24. And it was a poor way to start the match. Because I don't want to see any of these people, but I want to see them. And if I want to see them enough, eventually you'll want to see them. But lifted the crowd, got them buzzing and ready. See lots of penalizations for inexperience, holding back, inconsistency, yeah, all that good stuff. Good stuff, sure. Let's see what comes up next, and we do have just a little hype video for Nyla Rose again. Like I said, trying to get these women a bit more popularity, trying really bolster up the women's division, which I think I've done okay with sort of like the title picture, but like I feel currently the women's division is title picture, jobbers. We don't have like a mid card for the women, and that's something that we're going to try and change. So just by promoting a lot more women, doing this music video or hype video, and let's move on to the next segment. And it is a matchup between Jungle Boy and the Librarian, Peter Avalon. Both Librarians in action this evening. And it is Jungle Boy who manages to pick up the win in just under 8 minutes via pinfall. This got a 41 rating, quite a nice little rating there. Peter Avalon had a 35 and Jungle Boy had a 41. Jungle Boy is someone else that I want to start pushing a little bit more because I love Jungle Boy. Did you see his match at Fyter Fest this week? God damn. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus against MJF and Wardlow. That match was so good. Maybe second favourite match of the night, behind the Penelope Ford Shida match, which was like the best Ford performance I've ever seen. It was amazing. I don't know why I'm just talking about Fyter Fest, but I watched it yesterday, so it's fresh in my brain, and God, it was good. So yeah, Jungle Boy, Peter Avalon. They didn't like seeing Peter Avalon, but again, if I just keep using him, maybe they will. Leva Bates did good work at ringside. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus have pretty good chemistry, of course. Anything here? Just negative crowd reaction, inconsistency, low morale. If anyone has any tips on how to improve morale, please put them in the section down below, because I have quite a lot of people who are angry, and I've tried giving them a bonus. I do the locker room control to let them air their grievances every time. So yeah, any tips on how to boost morale would be greatly appreciated. Now let's move on to the next segment. And we have Kathy Kelly is interviewing Mr. Brody Lee backstage. Mr. Brody Lee, we have seen that you have recently taken a keen interest in Big Swole, and last week we saw her come and find you after her loss. What's going on between her and the Dark Order? Kathy, why would you ask me about the future of Big Swole? She is capable of answering those questions herself. It's people like you who have knocked her confidence to the point that she can't win a match. I am only here to announce a match for tomorrow night. Big Swole and Mr. Brody Lee versus the Butcher and the Bunny. So having a mixed tag match tomorrow night on Dynamite, and I've realised that this goes out a week after, which I forgot, but I'm doing them in the same episode, so when I big things up for tomorrow, it's going to be on the Dynamite that's in the same episode, because I've started it now, and I don't think it actually makes any difference to the to the thing. I might try and get like Dark maybe on a separate day. Not really sure yet. Maybe put it on like a Monday or a Tuesday. Probably not a Monday. That goes up against Raw. Maybe like a Tuesday. I don't know. But Kathy Kelly worked well, using freedom to improvise. Brody Lee improvised well. The Dark Order Growth storyline has advanced. Kathy Kelly was penalised for a poor gimmick. That was the only thing. But, she's a good interviewer. Just let her interview people, game. Let's move on to the next matchup. And it is Nyla Rose, the native beast, taking on Yuka Sakazaki. And it is Nyla Rose who gets the victory in 10:21 via pinfall. Nyla Rose had a 37. Yuka Sakazaki had a 31. And the segment rating was a 36. Not too bad. Again, like I've said like many times, just trying to give these women a bit more to do. Penalised for holding back, inexperience, inconsistency, just the usual sort of stuff. Yuka Sakazaki got a bonus for selling and a bonus for high morale, which is good. Let's move on to the next segment. And we have a video playing, hyping up tomorrow night's main event, where it will be Jon Moxley taking on Darby Allin in a precursor to the huge triple threat cage match at All Out. This got a 65. Futurist here, storyline advanced. Nice, just announcing the main event for tomorrow. Very nice. And now let's move on to the main event of this evening. It is the Best Friends taking on the Hybrid 2. And in a decent match, it is the Best Friends who pick up the win when Chuck Taylor pinned Jack Evans with an awful waffle. And Helico was the weak link. I don't see him as the weak link in real life. But I'm not, as you can probably tell by my booking, I'm not a huge fan of the Hybrid 2. They just don't do it for me, for some reason. This segment got a 59. Trent had a 61. Chuck had a 57. Jack Evans had a 54. And Angelico had a 45. What do you get penalised for? Just the usual, holding back, all that stuff. So, that is the end of the final episode of Dark before All Out. Not much storyline sort of stuff going on. More just trying to use this, I think maybe going forward, trying to use Dark more as a proving ground for the young up-and-coming stars. Give them sort of a place to shine, a place to put on some good matches. People like Jungle Boy, like Christian Casanova, like basically the whole women's division. Marco Stunt even. I'm just trying to think now. But yeah, people, Colt Cabana, who use it as a proving ground before, they ascend to Dynamite, and then, Dynamite will be like the big one every week, which is basically what they do in real life, I guess. But anyway, let's finish the show and see the rating that we got. A 48, which is pretty nice. I think that's the best Dark show we've had in quite a while. The women's matches were 34 and 36, which is actually pretty, not too bad for our women's division, 34-36. So yeah, overall, not too bad an episode of Dark. So now we are going to go on to the huge go-home show of Dynamite. I will see you for that in just a second's time. And here we are, back for the go-home show of AEW Dynamite, trying to get better than our 62 last week. Our worst episode of Dynamite by far. But let's just jump straight into the go-home show. And we are coming at you live in front of a sold-out Odeum Expo Center. And the first matchup is that one announced on Dark last night. The Bunny and the Blade taking on Big Swole and Mr. Brody Lee. And in a bout that had decent reaction from the crowd but subpar wrestling, it is Big Swole and Mr. Brody Lee who pick up the win when Big Swole pinned the Bunny teaming up with the Dark Order leader seems to have done wonders for Big Swole, picking up her first victory in quite some time. Mr. Brody Lee was head and shoulders above everyone else with a 64, and Big Swole was the weak link, which is unfortunate, with a 30. It's got a 58 rating, a nice start to the show. I did a lift the crowd, so hopefully that went alright. They didn't seem thrilled seeing the bunny, but she's really good. Like a 48, she did got a better performance than the Blade. So I'm gonna have to keep using her. I did put her to Ali like she is in real life, but then I decided that I don't want to just use her as Ali yet. So I put her back to the bunny, but the picture has stayed the same. That's why the picture is of Ali and the name is the bunny. Sorry everybody. Match got the show off to a strong start. The Blade is getting better at his gimmick, which is lovely. So yeah, a nice victory there, a nice opening matchup for Mr. Brody Lee and Big Swole. Let's move on to the next segment. And we have Jake Roberts. A video shows Jake Roberts standing in a dark room. His speech is being intercut with footage of Lance Archer destroying opponents. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Time is almost running out. You have 3 days before All Out. That's just 3 days for one of you to build up the courage to face the Murder Hawk. Are you going to take one for the team? I don't mind either way. And I know Lance would rather no one shows up. I know Lance would rather head back to that locker room and destroy each and every one of you. But I want to make this clear for you all, so you can prepare properly. This is not a match you can win. This is not a shot for someone to get an upset. This is a sacrifice. Oh! Jake Roberts there with a beautiful promo, a 72 rating. Excalibur was pretty weak. This angle got the crowd hotter, which is perfect because I got the Wild Brawl coming up next. So once again, just building up to that that Lance Archer open challenge at All Out, and Jake Roberts saying here that, you know, this is someone needs to take one for the team in the locker room, or Lance Archer will go back there and destroy everybody. The only penalty, why do I keep saying penalization? Jesus Christ, that's not a word. The only penalty was Excalibur on the announce desk, but he's improving every week, so it's okay. Let's move on to the next segment. And we have the #1 contenders for the Tag Team Championships, FTR, going up against Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus of the Jurassic Express. And it is FTR who pick up the victory, pinning Luchasaurus with a Goodnight Express. This match got a 63 rating. Dax had a 65, Cash had a 68, Luchasaurus had a 38, and Jungle Boy only had a 34. It's quite disappointing. We know that they all have great chemistry working together. The announcing quality was good. The F the Rest storyline has advanced with this segment. So now let's move on, see what comes next in the show. And it is an interview with Kathy Kelly and Austin Gunn. Kathy Kelly is interviewing Austin Gunn backstage. Kathy Kelly: Austin, you have the biggest match of your career coming up in just 3 days' time. How are you preparing? Austin: well, you know, I've been strategizing with my dad, watching footage, hitting the gym. I know I'm going into this as a huge underdog. No one is going to bet on Austin Gunn when he's going up against Shawn Spears. No one. But that's okay. I don't need to be the favourite because I can guarantee Spears has not worked as hard as I have or trained as hard as I have. This might be my only title match ever, and I'm not going down without a fight. So Austin Gunn building up to the TNT Championship match with Sean Gunn at All Out. That segment got a 30 rating. See, this is what I don't understand. So Kathy Kelly in Dark was like, hey, I bloody love going off script, it's the best, 2 thumbs up. And in this, she's like, oh no, I actually find it really hard going off script. What? She's being like marked on the same thing. She's being marked on microphone again. I don't understand what the difference is. That's just if anyone can let me know like why that happens. Like it happened with MJF once. Like MJF, it was like he didn't like going off script, or he struggled going off script, but then I went to script him for the next episode and he was like, hey, I don't want to be on a script. So I have no idea. Anyway, let's move on to the next matchup. And it is Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, taking on the first ever women's champion, Riho. and it is Dr. Britt Baker who gets the win in 16:21 by making Riho submit with the lockjaw. This is Britt Baker's final match before her huge title match at All Out. This second got a 46 rating. Britt Baker was off her game, which is really annoying. She only got a 35, where Riho got a 47. The Dr. V. Shida storyline has advanced with this segment. So yeah, just a nice little, give Britt Baker another win before that title match, which I hope gets a really good rating. Let's move on to the next segment. And we have Kenny Omega is walking around backstage holding a DVD. Like a DVD case, not just the disc. Just clarifying. He enters a room and sees Hangman sitting on a sofa drinking a beer. Kenny: "Hey man, I've got some tape of FTR. I thought we could go through it, make some notes." Adam Page: "Look man, I gotta head off. I'm getting some drinks with Private Party and I really shouldn't be late." "Are you serious? We have the biggest match we have ever had as a tag team coming up in 3 days and you want to drink? FTR are some next level competition and we can beat them, but not if you're not with me." "Oh, come on man, you're letting them get in your head. Look, we have beaten great team after great team. All Out isn't going to be any different. Look, I'll see you later, man." Hangman leaves the room and Omega looks furious. "Adam, come back!" Oh, stupid son of a bitch. Ooh, dissension between the tag champs. Ooh. Alright. This one got a 64. Nice little promo between those two, bigging up that title match at All Out. The F the Rest storyline advanced. Kenny Omega came across well. The lack of any, I think the lack of anything interesting happening means I made it too long. I think I might have made this 5 minutes. Maybe I should have made it under 5 minutes. But Kenny Omega benefited from having a groundswell of public support. It doesn't say anything there about getting penalised, so who knows. But a 64, not a bad rating, and let's move on to the next matchup. And I knew this was going to be bad, but I don't care. So, in a terrible match, cheerleader Melissa defeated MJ Jenkins, making her debut in 3 minutes 13 with a kudo driver. MJ Jenkins on a one-night deal, but I might sign her. She's quite young. We need some more women to bolster the women's division. I might use her a few more times. See how I might sign her on like a handshake deal or something. I always forget I can do that. I always just do exclusive written, which probably isn't the best thing. Anyway, this segment got a 30 rating. Cheerleader Melissa had a performance of 51, which is great. MJ Jenkins had a 22. Crowd weren't thrilled to see her, but that's fine. And as planned, this match brought the fans back down a little, which is good. What happens if I go Oh, she's just got a standard gimmick. Okay. Right, so let's move on to the next segment. And next up, we have the second semi-final of the three-man tag team tournament, with the Inner Circle, Chris Jericho, Santana, and Ortiz taking on Cody, Matt, and Nick Jackson of the Elite. And in a superb match, going 22 minutes and 23 seconds, it is the Elite who will move on to the final when Nick Jackson pins Santana with a 450 splash that had a rating of 70. That is what you want from your co-main event. Ortiz had a 66, Santana had a 68, Jericho had a 68, Nick had an 85, Matt had a 77, and Cody had a 70. So there we have it. We have officially the final of the three-man tag team championship tournament, and the two teams fighting for that championship will be the Elite taking on Death Triangle. This match dragged at the end. It was too long for the workers to really keep an all-out pace going. Does I did that as Steal the Show. Does Steal the Show automatically do an all-out pace? So I've had that a few times, and I think it must be from Steal the Show, which would make sense if you're trying to steal the show. So we had Cody benefited from having a hot new move. So did all of the Elite had a hot new move. Really nice co-main event there. And let's move on to the next segment, where we see Death Triangle come out to the ring and applaud the Elite. The two teams stare each other down, ready for their collision. at All Out. Another 70 rating, beautiful. The first champ storyline has advanced again. Nick Jackson improvised well. Pac did well. The only person who didn't do well was Rey Fenix. Oh, yeah, I'm buzzing for that. I've got high hopes for these 6 men going up against each other. I think this could be match of the night. I think it could be match of the series already. Now let's move on to our main event of the evening, announced on Dark last night. Darby Allin going one-on-one with Jon Moxley just a few days before their Triple Threat Championship match. And in a superb match, it ends in a draw in 17 minutes 34 when the match descended into chaos after MJF got involved. Only a 63 rating. I didn't want to do too many, like, I think this was like a sports entertainment finish. Yeah, sports entertainment finish. I don't want to do too many of them, but I thought in this situation it works well. It keeps them both strong. MJF getting involved obviously as well, trying to weaken his opponents before the match. 63 is a bit annoying, but I don't know if that gets penalised. Yeah, for the type of finish. I thought it would, yeah. For an odd face heel combination and for the type of finish, which makes sense. Doing like a screwy finish. But let's move on to the final segment of the show. That's more like it, back up to a 70. And the match is thrown out as MJF attacks Moxley with a chair. Darby tries to fight MJF off, but he is also attacked with the chair. MJF locks in the salt of the earth on Darby and refuses to let go. Eventually, MJF releases the hold and stands tall over Darby and Mox as we go off the air. So the Future is Here storyline advanced and gained heat, which is what you want from your final segment before the pay-per-view. So this segment got a 70 rating, real nice. Moxley came out looking excellent and improvised well. Oh yes, that's what you wanted. Was only penalised due to low morale of MJF and the Future is Here storyline having low heat, which isn't great. So all in all, a much better show than last week, I think we can all agree. I don't know if it's going to quite crack that 70 rating, but let's go back. Let's go to the final screen and find out together. And it didn't. It got the 67, which isn't too bad. It increased our popularity in 35 regions. What was it? The interview and the cheerleader Melissa like squash match really letting us down, and nothing else really. You know, to get 67 from where we started with this series, to get 67 from a card that has, you know, 2.5 women's matches, I guess, is really good. Like, that shows how far at least our like top stars in the women's division have come. Just that one with MJ Jenkins, obviously knew it was going to be low, but I just wanted to give cheerleader Melissa a dominant victory before her match with Tenille at All Out, and we did get like 72 and 3 70s. So yeah, a pretty good show overall, 67. And let's go back to the home screen and see if we can beat NXT, but I'm not holding out much hope for that. Okay, so here we are. Let's see how Dark. Oh, that's the one that we just did, isn't it? Of course. NXT got a 71. So they you know, they've also had a few slightly off shows recently. Not as low as us, but you know, not great. Ring of Honor, let's see there, 78 again. Yep, amazing. All Japan 54, very solid. Oh, Tajiri. Is that like Tajiri? That is Tajiri. What other Tajiri would it be? Let's have a quick look at the thing. News reports. Vinny Marseglia has been injured. I don't know Vinny Marseglia, but 14 years experience, 34. Started when he was 20. What a legend. Octagon Jr. is set to stay with AAA. Let's have a look at his skill. Oh, damn, that's stamina, athleticism. Oh, fundamentals are looking real nice as well. And so, oh, okay, he looks good. Maybe we should try and sign him. Let's add him to the shortlist. He's considered one of the key. I offered him a new contract. So does that mean I can negotiate with him if I want? Yes, and I can view the rival offers. Okay, all right. Well, maybe. Anyway, let's check our email. So we've got Jim Ross opinion. He's saying, Dr. Britt Baker is too small. You should release the kid and find someone better. Not going to happen. Sorry, Jim. I think she is great. 14,000 in drugs test fees. And we got a 2.08 rating. How did NXT do? They got a 2.27. So quite a lot of viewers more than us. But hey, we're hitting that 1.5 million mark, which is pretty good. So thank you all for watching this episode. Getting ready for All Out, which will be coming out on Monday. So if you enjoyed this episode, please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Tell a friend, tell everyone on Facebook. If you want to get in touch with me, oh god, I can't believe I've never done this before. If you want to get in touch with me, you can on Twitter at I think it's at Hen Jingle. But if you type in the Jingle Hen, it'll come up. I don't think I've ever said that name out loud before, and it sounds so ridiculous, but who cares? We're rolling with it. So yes, if you enjoyed this, like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you for All Out very soon. Goodbye.